Hello, everyone. My name is Fan. I'm now in Düsseldorf, Germany, and right now is in Easter holidays. And today I'm going to share some snacks and drinks I bought from the local Asian supermarket here, and to share some stories with you guys. Right now, we have faced a very difficult weather in the March, but today it looks great. So I also have a good feeling. So I hope you guys will enjoy. So right now you see there are a lot of things on the table. Um, I think I would like to start with this candy. It's called White Rabbit. Well, because today is Easter, and also because this year, 2023, is the year of rabbit. Um, I think this brand was actually like the most recognized snacks from all the Chinese people's childhood memories, not only from my generation, the next generation, or also like the generation of my parents. We know this rabbit like since we are in the kindergarten, but people don't know that like 80 years ago, when this brand was born, it was not called the White Rabbit. Instead, it was called ABC Mickey Mouse. This is the replica of the original packet of the ABC Mickey Mouse Milky Sugar Candy from 1943. It was back then a candy factory owned by a rich guy, and he visited Great Britain and tasted the milky toffee there, and he really loved the taste. So he wanted to also produce that in Shanghai, which back then was recognized the most modern big city in East Asia. And in 1940s, before Communist Party took over the whole mainland China, and the the American culture, pop culture was super influential, especially in big cities like in Shanghai. And all the Shanghai children loved the Mickey Mouse. So, like this rich guy, he thought about, okay, we just took the Mickey Mouse to make a brand. I think back then, like copyright was not really like an accepted concept like for many people back then. So he just copied everything. I didn't know like if his strategy of commerce reached the success or not, but what is to be sure is that like after 6 years, it was because he initiated this brand in 1943, and then after 6 years, 1949, the Communist Party took over the whole country, and also like all the private owned factories returned back to the nation state. So they turned out to be station owned. And then back then, the China and the United States became final enemy because of the ideology conflicts. And so Mickey Mouse, though very beloved, has been then regarded as a evil symbol of the capitalism, and so it is forbidden to be shown in the advertisement. So what to do with the candy? To rescue the candy, the factory initiated a new design of the brand, and it's lasted like for over 70 years, and still like everything like look the same. And for me, what really triggered me is that I don't know why, like behind the White Rabbit, there is a color panel here. Um, for some reason, the this candy was really like has something to do with the art, especially the contemporary art. Wait, before that, I would like to actually open the candy and to show what it looks like inside. When I introduced this candy to my foreign friends, um, they always thought that it was a kind of like fruity hard candy, so they just started to chew it, but it was actually not really the right way to eat it. It's like you really need to put it into the in your mouth and just like the temperature of your tongue to melt it, and then like it just to enjoy the taste of like sweet taste like until it melted and vanish. And here's the skin. It's made by corn, so it's actually eatable. And I would like to say that it's actually my favorite part. Okay, I will take one aside. Because right now I'm in Düsseldorf, and if you know something about the German art scene, you will know this guy. It's called Joseph Beuys. He used to teach in the art academy in Düsseldorf here, and he has a very intricate relationship with the rabbit. In the 1960s, he did a very famous performance called like how to explain an image to a dead rabbit. And here you see like he was holding a dead hare, and on his face he was uh, his face was covered by some gold folios and sticks with honey together. So, and for him, it's always like a rabbit and sugar was the element like appear constantly in his works. And like for the artist, it's actually a very like easy association. You see here, sugar, rabbit, sugar, and then until one day he saw there are a lot of sugars candies actually like candies with the cap the package design was covered actually by the image of rabbit. So he started to collect those images and reproduce them. And here you see it's called American Hair Sugar. It's from 1975. Well, basically I don't know that much, but maybe the people who are currently in the States know that this is actually also a kind of like a package design of a very famous sugar candy in the United States. And then in the 1970s, he got a white rabbit candy during the Casa Documental exhibition. Um, and this became actually the chance that he found, wow, that's amazing, because it was in the 1970s, and there was actually a very important incident happened in that age. That was like after 30 years fight, China, the communist China and the United States finally renewed their diplomatic relationship. Because of that, he made silk screen work of this original hair sugar candy. See, he basically he just copied everything, and I think like the format is about A4 or A3 with his own signature and the stamp. And you see, this is the 51 out of 90, and currently like this one was in the collection of Tate Britain. I don't know, like for some reason, Joseph Beuys was actually the one of the most famous and renewable European artists in China. And in 2019, there's a very large retrospective exhibition opened in Shanghai, China, which is actually the hometown of this candy. And of course, this silkscreen work exhibited again in the museum, and they like the curators the curator team, they also found like the idea of this sugar candy and also this connection was very interesting. So they just put a lot of hair sugar candies on the ground in a very Felix Gonzalez Torres style here. But this time it's also for the audience to take away. And there's a news report saying that after the whole exhibition, almost a ton of the candies have been consumed and taken away by the audience. Well, so here's the story of the white rabbit. I think I now feel a little bit thirsty, so I would say something about this drink here. Don't know right now if it's the right time for a beer, but it looks beautiful. And some people, especially some who are really like into beers, may recognize this brand because it was actually one of the most famous Chinese beers exported everywhere in the world. But many people don't know that this brand was not actually initiated by Chinese. It was actually initiated by German. Well, you will also see that no wonders because Germans, everyone knows they love beers. But do you know that Germany used to have a colony in China? Here I have a postcard. You can see this beer is called Qingdao, and here's Qingdao. Basically, it's the same place. And this is a postcard from the 1914. Back then, it's the Second German Emperor, Second German Reich. And after a war, Germans took over this harbor city called Qingdao in Shandong province, where the Confucius was born. And back then they really had ambition to settle this place as a role model colony, because in the competition of colonizing other countries, we know for some reasons Germans are kind of left behind. And back then they really want to compete, especially with the British people who just took Hong Kong from China and settled the city into a very modernized, so back then very modernized, the role model colony. And so like the ambition of Germans was to set Qingdao into the German version of Hong Kong. So but unfortunately, because Germans lost the First World War, so also this colony was then transported into under the regime of the Japanese people. So actually, in total, Germans only ruled this place for about 16 years. But only in this short period, they have already left a lot of legacy. Like today in Qingdao, you can still see a lot of architectures in the very old German styles. And here you see an old picture of a brewery in Qingdao, which was actually the birthplace of the Qingdao beer. think I'm very bad at pouring beers, but cheers. Let me think about what go next. I think I still have one interesting snacks here. In China, we call it 辣条. It means spicy stick. But if you look into the ingredient, you will see it's actually spicy gluten. And I took this as an example because basically it assembles like all the stereotypes Western people could have about Chinese food and Chinese snacks. Like first, it's gluten, and second, it's super spicy, it's super salty, and it's super oily. And also you can see there's a lot of like mistress ingredient and chemical elements here, which you cannot tell what is that exactly. But you can see here, like there's a slogan like for promoting this brand in Chinese. It is called the childhood memory. Actually, it's not really my childhood memory because I didn't remember I ate them that much. But I do know like many friends really love it, and I can tell you the reason was just because it's so cheap. Like the whole package, like back then when I was in primary school, it was about like 50 cents Chinese yuan, which is about like 10 cents right now, like in 10 cent in euro system. And there was a lot of like questions, like if you search on the internet, you can see them asking like why Chinese are so into spicy food. Actually, I can say that not all the Chinese foods are spicy, but like spicy food do appear like in certain regions, and especially for certain social classes. And so you can sum up to say that spicy food are poor people's food because like it's have a very strong flavor. So you just need a little bit to spicy food to add up with, then you can eat the whole bowl of rice, and so you can survive, stay away from the starving. And today, like of course right now we're like more talking about the to eat more healthy and see the ingredients, what is inside. But I have to say, still, if you look at it, it's a kind of luxury. Not all the people have this kind of conditions. And here, I just took it like a couple of days ago. It was printed in a menu in a Chinese restaurant in the States. It said, "Be advised, our food include all allergy sources. Our food are not for vegetarian. Our food cannot be no spicy." And it was a very strong and provoke reactions, I would say, to all the requirements. Like I would imagine like the European and the like Western customers would ask in an Asian restaurant. And of course, we can say that the restaurant, they should show their hospitality and they should meet the customer's requirement. But here's another question. It's like, who are really the customers to visit those restaurants? Like, who are those restaurants open for? are there rights for those restaurants, for those food, to say no to a certain groups because they just they just don't belong to them? I think I'm kind of out of time because I'm a little bit nervous today. So I would end up maybe here with this fortune cookie. Like, I think like right now on the table, like this one is the most familiar one to most people, and I would say this is actually the only one which was not produced in Asia but produced out of Asia, because like the whole thing was invention from the United States. But I mean, this one, like it's written like Greek keks, is actually like from Germany. And in the 19th century, like there are a lot of Japanese and Chinese people. They came to the United States to work, and back then they were like really worked in a very poor condition and facing like racism and harsh treatment every day. And the first generation of Chinese restaurants somehow were opened by Japanese people back then. And actually the American Japanese invented these Greek cakes as snacks to serve after the dish. And then it was actually spread everywhere, except for China. And just to finish the introduction today, I'm going to open one. Oops, it's a little bit difficult. Okay, so let me see what's would be. The fortune guidance from a foreign god today. Okay. So it said, friendship is not only a gift but an ongoing task. That's it. I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. Cheers, post.